What's up, YouTube? Crew Steel coming at you with another video. Something pretty personal. This is gonna be a very personal video that I'm making here, and it's about hair loss, hair restoration, Finasteride. This has been a video I knew I was gonna be making at some point. I just didn't know when, and it's recently been like I've been seeing a lot of commercials lately for this thing called Keeps, and then promoting saving your hair and regrow your hair back, and I don't know too much on their program or what it is exactly that they offer, but we'll look at that in a minute. But the point of what this video is that I'm 28 years old and I should be completely bald or damn near close to bald. I've talked about this on my streams before, but I felt like now's maybe a decent time to actually just make a video and talk about my experience with it and with Bosley and the hair restoration program that they have and what it was like for me. And this is going to be an extremely in-depth video about me talking about my personal experience when I started to notice I was thinning, and what I even have pictures too on what was leading me to want to look more in depth and over everything. And it was, yeah, Bosley changed my life. The whole thing did. And yeah, I'll also talk about rates too on what things were like at the time. I don't remember much on Finasteride in the beginning because I had two different kind of run-ins with it. Like, I got involved, I think, with Finasteride at a young age, and then I dropped it because of reasons, but we'll get into the story in a minute. But just a quickie is that hair restoration is true, it's real, it's a tad expensive, but it is doable, and we'll get into prices and stuff in a minute. But just to go over the whole story and stuff, I've been seeing a lot of Keeps online and on TV. I was even talking to my mom about doing this video, and she's saying that she's seeing commercials about Keeps on TV. So I just thought to myself, this would be a pretty nifty time to actually just talk about my personal experience with it. Typically, when you come over to my streams on Twitch, I'm always wearing a hat. I'm still, I'm not bald or balding or anything because I'm still keeping up with it, and it's an everyday thing that you do to keep the male pattern baldness from kicking in. But typically I always have a hat on stream because I am still a little, not bad, but just like lighting is very like crucial. It's very a crucial thing with like my thin hair and stuff a little bit. Yeah, I'm just making myself look like shit. But this is me without a hat on, and I'm going to go back in a minute here and show you some pictures of me when I had short hair, when I was thinning, damn near balding horribly. It's going to get ugly. But there's a story that needs to be told here for sure, I feel. And I feel once I got done with everything, I just felt like, hey, this would be a great story to tell people that this stuff works. And just now's the time. So here's the story. I was in high school, I was a senior, and I was just starting to thin a little bit. Nothing at all you'd notice. Nothing at all. But right here, I was starting to just thin a bit. And I'm very vain, so I noticed it. And I didn't really do anything about it when I was in high school. It was like I said, it was my senior year, and I just got done. And then I started working a little bit and going to college. And I just kind of noticed it felt like it was becoming a little more noticeable over time. Like over a few months, I could just start to tell, like, it's something's going on there. I think I'm balding, maybe. But you don't want to say it, It's kind of like maybe a drug addiction, You don't have a problem until you admit it. And I didn't want to admit that I was thinning and balding, but then after a while. So I asked my mom about it. I'm like, you notice if I'm thinning or anything? Just, here and there I would maybe bring it up. So I don't really notice it, but if you want to go to a hair doctor. So I went to a hair doctor. Dr. Sparrow was his name. And I don't remember at all what the hell we talked about. I really don't, other than just, hey, I think I'm balding, this and that. And at the time, they put me on a pill that I think was Finasteride. I really don't remember. But he put me on a pill. I'm assuming it was Finasteride. And back then, the Finasteride that I was taking was a 5 milligram pill, and he told me to cut it up into fourths. He told me that, I don't know if it was like times had changed between when I was 19 and then when I got involved with Bosley when I was like 23, 24 or whatever, I don't know. But he was telling me he could only give me 5 milligrams, and 5 milligrams was too much, so I had to take a pill cutter and cut the finasteride into fourths, into quarters. Yeah, one pill, cut it up twice to make it into a quarter, and take a quarter pill every day. And the pill cutter that I had was garbage. The pill cutter, like sometimes when I'd go to cut it, it would shoot the pills off. And when you're 19, I just didn't give a shit to keep up with it. I'm not going to lie. And that was a huge mistake that I made, really. The finasteride, too, it is not a cheap thing. And from just to quickly talk about it, that looks like something that Keeps is trying to work on. Finasteride really, I don't think, has ever been cheap. I don't remember what I was paying for it back then, but I just remember feeling like it's too much of a hassle. It's just too fucking much. So that was when I was like 19, and then when I was like, I think, like I said, 23, 24, I really started to notice it. I got like I said, I got some pictures here, and I just remember feeling like, you know, if you gotta shave your head, I guess you'll shave your head. And this is before I really got into rock and roll. I mean, actually, in all honesty, I loved concerts, but this was definitely before Motley Crue changed my life. It's part of where my name came from and everything. Like Motley Crue really inspired me to grow my hair out. Like, this was before I got in heavily with rock and roll and heavy metal and adapted it as like my lifestyle. So I was playing around like, hey, maybe you will have to just shave your head or something, because I kind of forgot that I did that when I started to see it becoming more noticeable and stuff. You start talking to yourself like, well, you know, it can't be that bad. I'll show you the first picture. This picture I'm about to show you, I knew before this picture that I was thinning, but the issue is that when you look in the mirror and stuff, and I wasn't a big selfie taker, never really have been, but when you're looking at yourself head on, you don't really see a side view. I don't know how the mic's picking up, but you don't really see a side view shot of yourself. And this picture, I saw a bit of a side shot of myself, and this is when I realized that, all right, I'm kind of in trouble, or I gotta think about something and do something. So this was when I was hanging with my dad and my uncle, and they just got their motorcycles. There's another picture. This is like the further away shot of it here. And when I saw this picture, I just knew, obviously, I'm totally thinning here, definitely balding over there. And why don't these pictures ever care to, I hate these bloody things. But I saw this side angle of myself, and that's when I thought it was bad. And that's when I decided to take a couple more selfies and try and just capture a few different angles. And that's really when I was like, oh my God, dude. Oh my Lord. Here's going to be a scary one. This picture on the motorcycle, this was a year before I started looking in for a solution. So now this next picture I'm about to show you is pretty much almost a year later. And yeah, get prepared. It's gonna be, oh my Lord, here, it's horrible. It's scary, man. It is terrifying. I don't know how well, like, I know a couple of buddies who are now starting to age. We're always aging. I know a guy or two who are definitely starting to bald a little bit. And it's one thing that when you start thinning and balding, when you're getting closer to 30 and everything, versus when you're fucking 23 and all this shit. This was 2-3 months before I actually got involved with Bosley. These were the pictures that I took, that I specifically said to myself, all right, you gotta like do something, guy. You gotta seriously like get help. If you give a shit, you gotta find something now and get involved with it quick if there's anything to be done. Because I'm just like, oh God, I'm just like, you got to figure something out. You got to come with a game plan, because you're at the point where it's you start cutting your hair and shaving your head, or you find something. And find something I did. My mother, I was talking to her about it, and I remember she brought up hair club or men's hair club. I don't know. I forget what the hell it was. I think it's still a thing today. I never saw anything on it. I saw commercials on Bosley, but when she brought up club hair or whatever the hell it is, I don't know. I just remember feeling like, nah, it doesn't sound like it's too legit. I want to check out the Bosley stuff, because my thought was just, if you're paying for commercial advertisement, there's got to be something there. I don't think I ever heard any hair club stuff much. I think I heard word of mouth of it, but I was like, I want to start with someone that's paying for commercial advertisement and look into it. And I got lucky a little bit that Bosley had an office in New York City. I'm up in Albany, New York. They had a consultation office that was locally to me. And I called and set something up because they had free consultations or free consultants. Am I saying that right? Consultation? I'm dyslexic, by the way. I might say some words that don't make any sense. But I called up the place to arrange a meeting with their program counselor. What do they call it? There was a gentleman by the name of Ollie at the time, and I still have a Bosley card. This isn't the original one. But their senior counselor at the time was a gentleman by the name of Ollie. And me and my mom, we arranged a meeting to meet Ollie. And it was really awesome. It was actually really cool to be able to sit down and talk about it. And Ollie went over... if you go to Keeps, you'll see them talk about myth busts and stuff, and maybe you guys know and have heard about it, like baseball caps can lead to it and this and that. And Ollie just said, bottom line, it's all, well, he didn't say this exactly, but it's all bullshit. The thing he said straight up is, it's all comes down to genes and genetics. And I thought about it. My father and my uncle, who were twins, they were kind of balding on like the back of their head, but they weren't having what I was having in the front here, and these pictures. They weren't getting it like I was. But I had an uncle, though. I had another uncle who wasn't a twin, who was completely bald. And then I don't really know about my family tree on my dad's side before that. But it just kind of made sense about the genes and everything and stuff. So after we got kind of finished talking with Ollie about me and a little bit of the sales pitch, he was telling me other stuff. He was kind of telling me about shampoo products and stuff, but he's like, that's not going to help you. I'm just kind of giving you all the sales pitch. You came here, I might as well tell you all the information. Like, all right. But one thing that he did show me and was telling me a little bit about was if anybody saw Anger Management, I think from Anger Management, if you remember the scene where Jack Nicholson's doing that weird shit or whatever when he comes out of the bathroom, I think he said he was stimulating his hair. Well, they offered stuff like that, and they offered like a helmet too, where the helmet and just the stick or whatever do just shoot laser beams onto your head it was to try and, oh God, this is where I'm going to be wrong probably, but it was to just try and, like, I think encourage more blood flow to be going to your scalp area to try and get the follicles to reopen up to promote healthy hair growth and maybe bring some of your hair back. But that helmet was like motherfucking expensive, I think. But Ollie said he himself he uses it sometimes. He probably got a discount and all because he works for him and stuff. But he himself does use the helmet, and Ollie did have good hair. He had beautiful hair. Yeah. And but then we got to the final thing. So it was like 3 things that he was telling me. He started out with shampoo, then he started out with his laser technology stuff, and then we got into what I need. Hair restoration, and never really hearing anything about it before. I remember hearing stuff about like hair plugs and how you look friggin' ridiculous as hell with hair plugs, and that was something that my mom heard that she brought up, and she goes, now when you're talking about hair restoration, are you talking about these hair plugs or whatever the hell they are? And he goes, yeah, a lot of people, they think that at first, and that's fine because that stuff does look like crap. And he goes, no, hair restoration, it's your hair. What we do is we surgically remove hair follicles from the back of your head, and we take a strand and we cut it all up under a microscope, and we bring it to the front where you're balding. Now this next picture was bam, horrible. This picture was this was a day before I went and did the operation. But this is almost basically what I was looking like too when I was talking with Ollie. He goes, we cut up into strands and we will put it up here. We have to reconstruct your whole hairline. And of course, bring some up here because you're basically just bald right there. Yeah. It was getting bad, guy. Really bad. And so, I remember talking with Ollie also about Dr. Sparrow and that, and so I said to him, I'm just like, well, Ollie, like if we do the hair restoration, what stops me from continuing balding? Like, wouldn't I just? And he goes, that's a great question, because before we got to this point, I mentioned Dr. Sparrow and whatever that pill was. He goes, your story, that pill, this is what you got to do. You got to do two things if you're going to be serious. Number one, yes, is the hair restoration. But if you don't want to do the hair restoration, you want to keep what you got to get back on that pill. Finasteride, he told me more about it. This is, in all honesty, this story, this is, like I said, I'm 28 now. I was 23 or 4. This is going back a little while for me, going off of memory. But I kept these pictures just to remind myself. But Ollie was telling me about finasteride, that basically it stops the hair from receding and stops you from balding. I've done a couple of takes. I don't remember. I don't think I said it on this one, but there'd be days I'd be waking up and I'd be finding hair on my pillow a little bit and stuff. And he goes, getting on the finasteride stops that. It prevents you from losing it. So no matter what you want to do, if you're serious about your hair and keeping it at least, you need to get back on that pill. And but really, I wouldn't really think you would care to get back on that pill of finasteride unless you're going to be serious about doing the hair transplant. And, that's what I liked about it. We didn't really bullshit around. He's like, you do have a bald spot and you're receding very much. So if you get on the finasteride, you might as well go through with the hair restoration. If you don't think you can do the hair restoration at the moment, but you'd want to, you would still definitely want to get on this pill, because it's only going to keep getting worse. And I mean, you think a year ago to the present day then, and you think, so yeah. I think Ollie was able to get me on finasteride that day and make a prescription for me or whatever. I don't know how finasteride is regulated in the pharmacy world. I don't, from how I've been doing it over the years, I've been needing a prescription from somebody to be getting it. I don't think you can, and I don't think you can. I don't think you can casually just walk in and get it. Pretty sure it needs to be prescribed to you by just somebody at least. I don't think it needs to be your primary doctor, because for a couple of years I was going to Bosley just directly themselves and they were renewing my prescription. So yeah, because it's a cosmetic more than it is medical in a sense. So I think Ollie with Bosley set me up that day with finasteride, and I started to get back on it. And I think the next day I got talking with my mom about it, and well, right then and there, also in the consultation, we were asking about prices and price ranges, and there were two different ways to do the operation. There was a cheaper way and a more expensive way. The cheap way was just, they cut out of the strand from your head, the back of your head, just one strand, and they just cut the whole strand out and they work with that. Because that way, the way I did it, leads to scarring, or can lead to scarring technically. Or they can do the more expensive way where they take it from the back of your head, literally follicle by follicle, or follicule by follicule. This is going back to the lumbar support if you saw my Titan video. But anyways, it's either they cut out a whole strand or they just cut individually out, so there won't be any scarring. And well, it's some money, my guy. It's some money. At the time, it was $8,000. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was $8,000 for the hair restoration alone, without the finasteride, and I forget how much down payment they wanted. Or maybe it might have been more. I really can't remember. I think really, it probably could have been. I think it could have been $12,000. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Look at that. I'm sorry, I'm over here. This motherfucker needed some work. So, yeah, it was because I got lucky. I was talking to my mom, and we got my grandma kind of involved with it. My grandma ended up covering some of it. I think it was originally $12,000, and I think she lowered it down to $8,000 for me if I wanted to go through with it, which, I mean, either way, I'm like, I'm thinking about it. That's some money when you're 23, and I luckily did have a very good paying job at the time. And I just was thinking about it, and I just said, I go, if I can get a full head of hair back or damn near close to it, why the fuck not? Like, seriously, why the fuck not? The way I'm thinking is just, I don't plan on when I die, I'm going to have zero money in my bank account and I'm going to be striving and struggling for $1 or something like that. So really, what the fuck is $12,000 or whatever? Like, end game wise, when I get older and I look back at me blowing $12,000 on something like this, I view it as something as it was worth it. And still, that's how I very much feel now. I'm not in any debt with Bosley or anything. That shit's been paid off for a while, and it was life changing, truly. So I got on the Finasteride. We gave Ollie a call, and he also told us when I saw him in person at the meeting that I would have to go down to New York City. That the office that we were in was only just for meetings and talking things over and showing charts, procedures, and it was just a consultant office basically. We had to go to New York City, and so we're like, all right, great, woohoo, we get to make a trip. It was a little exciting. It was pretty neat and nifty. So that's what we did. I forget the dates when and exactly, but we went down, me and my mom. She came with me. We had to be there at, I think it was like 8:30 or 9:30. We caught the train at 6 or whatever, and we pretty much got there right on time. I think we were a little late because of the train or something, but we got there all right. And I met with Ollie was there, the doctor was there who was going to be doing the whole operation. I met a good amount. I think I met like 4 to 5 different nurses. Everyone at Bosley was so nice. Everyone down to the reception lady to everyone behind the scenes, and everyone was so nice. And I kept going back there once a year for my prescription renewals through them, and they were always just very nice people. And I see they offer some more than just hair restoration, or they're working on offering more things than just that. But yeah, so I met with the doctor. We talked about it again. They took pictures of me that day, just moments before I went into the operating room, and it was really nice. We walked in, and it was just a chair. I sat down in this comfortable chair. It was almost kind of like a dentist chair or something like that, just like that. They had speakers, they had a TV, and the whole operation, it pretty much took all day, which he told me up front about too, Ollie. He goes, it's like a day-long procedure. It can be 6 to 9 hours, depends on the work, depends on which kind of doctor you get. So it will be a whole day operation, basically. My whole operation lasted 6 hours, I think, or maybe 7. We got in at like 9 o'clock, but I don't think we started the actual operation to maybe like closer to 10 after paperwork and introductions and stuff. Maybe, I don't know. I got out. That can't be right. No, I think we met at 7:30. I think we might have began at 8 actually. It was pretty early. Because I got out, I remember I ended up leaving and we were catching an earlier train than we thought. We ended up catching whatever. So how it goes is, I'm going to get to the train in a minute. How it goes is that I sit in the chair, they're playing music, I put on some rock and roll. I was liking Motley Crue a little bit. I didn't see Motley Crue yet live to make me want to change my image and embrace rock and roll so much. But, so I'm playing, so I had a playlist. They're playing me some Motley Crue and some stuff. It was pretty nice. And, yeah. They weren't, unfortunately, like, yeah, let's do this. They weren't too, like, wild side. They weren't too into the music like I was that I was playing. It's all right. Not everyone loves rock and roll. That's fine. But they got into it. So how it starts out with the operation is, the beginning part is only painful because they have to numb your head. And I don't know how many people have taken needles on their head. This is seriously the only thing that was a bitch, man, is when they numb me in the back of the head first, because this is where the back of the head is obviously where they take it from. So when they shot me back there with the whatever they used to numb my head, that wasn't bad. But of course, they're cutting up here and having to put everything up here, so they had to numb there too. And they ended up like all along right here, they hit me with like this, it was like a wheel. It was just like a little wheel that they just kind of roll over, and it puts out little needles. And that was the only, I can kind of remember it still. It wasn't like, oh my God, but it was like, I can take this. It's okay. Once it's done, I won't feel a thing. And it kicked in pretty quick, but it was just, God damn, if I hate needles. I really hate needles. But I wanted to be a man. I wanted to be a beautiful man with hair. And I took it at it. And I managed it. And we got going and rocking and rolling. I got numbed up. It wasn't bad. The doctor, he was working behind me. And I remember they tied my hair up for however short my hair was at the time. They put some rubber bands around my hair for the doc to operate on. And like I said, I did the cheapy one, so it was a little bit of a quicker procedure for what he had to do. They just, I don't know how they did it, but I just know he cut out the outline of what he was gonna do, and I didn't see it. But I remember the sound. I remember, you don't feel it, but I remember the sound of when he was pulling the skin off me, the follicles off the back of my head. How to describe it, man? It sounded like when you're pulling roots out of the ground. Yeah. That's exactly what I remember it sounding like. Or, yeah, maybe if you've been shot up on Novocaine and you got to hear what it sounds like to get a tooth ripped out, like yeah, or I don't know. I didn't feel it, but I just remember what it kind of heard like in a way. And I kind of remember like a little, I don't know if he's legit like with a foot on the back of the chair, like pulling it out. I don't know what he was really doing behind me, but I just remember it feeling like that, almost like he was just pulling the fucking skin off me. You don't feel nothing though. You don't feel nothing. And I'm over there just like, wild side, and he's just like, God damn, this fucking strand just won't give me scalpel again. Give me scalpel. Like, so he got done with it. He got the strand cut off of me, and then I don't know how long there was just like a little mini side booth behind me, and he just went over there with it, and he's over a microscope, and I'm just chilling there. I'm bleeding, but nah, I'm just exaggerating that a bit. They wrapped the back of my head up with something or whatever, and they were very nice, very caring, very professional. And the doc's just over there, and he's doing his thing. He's cutting the follicles. I don't remember how. They even encouraged me to, if it's early in the morning, if you want to fall asleep, go for it. You don't have to be awake for anything. We'll take it from here. We're good. So you just chill and relax. I was like, all right. Like, the worst part's over with. The fucking numbing. And he might have only been over there, I don't know, maybe half an hour cutting the strands up. Then he comes back over, and he took like a magic marker or something, I don't know, something. He was just like putting where my hairline was gonna be. And then he came at me with a scalpel, and I was awake for this, and he was kind of just standing over me, and he was just making the slice cut incisions on the top of my head here and stuff on where most of it was gonna be going. Now this is a bit of where it got funny in a way, not too much, but at one point I went to get up and use the bathroom. They were fine with that. They just gave me something to kind of like wrap around my head, for me to walk out, use the bathroom. And as soon as I got done, I started to drip a little bit of blood. So I'm glad I got done washing my hands. I got done, and then we'll wash that blood out of the sink. And I just ran back. I'm like, yeah, I'm starting to bleed. I don't know how. I didn't look at nothing. I did not want to see nothing. I didn't even think about. And so yeah, I was just like, all right, yeah, I'm done, and there's some blood dripping. Let's just run. And so then I sat back down, and they wiped up the little excess that was happening. Back to work we went. I was like, all right, groovy, great, grand. I don't know how much. Maybe I bled. I don't know if it was all behind me and couldn't see. I don't remember seeing blood on my chair. I don't remember nothing. So, like I said, they're professional with how they're doing their stuff. Now, this is the funny part, actually. This is the kind of funny part. I did fall asleep for a point. I don't know how long I was out or what, but I did fall asleep. And it was at the point when they were putting the hair follicles on the top of my head. And it was two dudes. And I feel so bad for these guys because, like I said, I'm asleep. And they're over me and they're putting it in. And I'm like, I don't want to knock the green screen over, but I go, I went like that, like I freaked, and they're like, "Wow, are you okay? Are you alright?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm fine, I'm okay. I fell asleep, and I just had this dream that people were operating on my head, and it's true, but it's okay. Continue. I'm sorry." Like, "Oh, you're not in pain or nothing? You're okay?" I'm like, "No, yeah, no, I am so sorry that I did that to you guys. I legit fell asleep and yeah, I'm fine. I'm sorry I startled you guys. I won't fall asleep again. I'll just kind of chill here." And I don't remember how much longer it took from that, but I just remember I felt so terrible that happened. And the doctor came in a little. The main doctor wasn't there himself. He just did the incisions and the cutting and the splitting, and then those guys, I guess, are good enough to just put the follicles on you and stuff. Because I guess he I don't know, organizes it out somehow for them. At that point, when I scared those two gentlemen, the doc wasn't in the room. But when he came back in and said, "Yeah, I heard you kind of gave my guys a heart attack," I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And when we got done with it all, he did ask me, he's like, "So do you want to see what you look like right now?" And oh my God, it was so fucking freaky. It really was. Like, to describe it, obviously I've been fucking cut up all over my head, mainly here and a little bit in here and stuff. So imagine this like V shape of my head here, like red with like black dots. Imagine like maybe like a steak with a bunch of pepper kind of sprinkled all over it. It's weird to see yourself like that and not feel in pain or anything like that. I just remember like kind of like, whoa, it was a little surreal, like you're moving around and shit, and it was yeah, it was interesting as fuck. And I think the doctor's name, I don't remember his full name, because them awesome doctors like him, they got a simple name. I'm pretty sure his first name was Peter, and then he has some last name that you just never had any idea how to pronounce it, even when they told you 3 times to your face, let alone like friggin' 5 years later. But he was a really awesome doctor. He was really nice, cool. They all were great. I felt so bad for those 2 dudes, but they were really nice. My mom spent the whole time in a nifty little waiting room, and it was comfortable for her. They brought me some lunch, and they brought her some lunch too. And once I was all done, they're like, "You're all set, but just we're gonna take you over to the same waiting room your mom's at, and just hang out for another hour or so." Once they got done showing me what I look like and stuff, I think they put a bandana on me right then and there. And actually, I think I still have that bandana right here. Yeah, this actual very bandana. This is the bandana that I got from Bosley. I don't care if you think it's fucking weird or whatever that I still have it. I've watched it a bunch of times. It's fine. Shut the fuck up. Anyways, so this bandana I think they put on me, and then I went out and saw my mom, and she was asking all about it, and I'm like, "You're not going to believe what I look like under this bandana. I don't know." So we chill. We ate lunch there for a minute, and then the doctor and a nurse came in. They sat down and hung out with us for a little bit, and they were just telling me all about what I'm going to be doing to take care of it and everything. And they told my mom about it. "He's good now, this and that." And so where you're at now is you're obviously now in the beginning of the healing process. I think they said they took 2 strains from the back of my head. I think that was exactly what they did. I don't think it was 1. I think it was 2. And they ended up not using all the follicles. I remember that. They didn't use all of them. I think there might have been like 500 more they didn't use, I think. And I don't think they put it on ice. I don't think they saved the shit for you if you ever later on decide. I think they just throw it out, because at the end they're just like, they go, I think they said it to me in the middle of the operation too, If you want to use it all, we can go ahead and use it all, or we can save you some money. And I'm thinking $12,000. I'll take the save money route, where in all honesty, I wish I used it all up. I really do wish. I really do wish I used it all up. And quickly pause it to talk about me, and I'll show you right now really quick. This is now going to be, no, we'll build up to a little more. So I took the save some money route. I didn't use, I think, like 512 follicles, I think it was, follicules, whatever. And they say, we have you on oxycodone right now. And they gave me a bottle with, like, I think like 5 other oxycodone pills and some Aleve too, or something like that, or I forget, some over the counter. They gave me a prescription one painkiller and then over the counter painkiller. And they were telling me, they go, you may experience some pain tomorrow because of it all. Everyone reacts differently, but here's some more for today and tomorrow. If you feel like you don't need it, then definitely go to the over the counter stuff. And that was that. They let us hang out for a little bit more there. They were telling me, they gave me a care kit. There was specific shampoo that I was to use 3 days from then, I think it was. I wasn't to shampoo for 3 to 4 days or something like that. And when I did go to do it, only do it once with this specific bottle that they were giving me. Every day, though, there was a spray bottle that I had. Every day I was to spray my head 2 or 3. I think it was like every 2 hours. Spray it every 2 hours or every 3 hours, and spray it before and when you first wake up. And I wasn't able to shower. Well, I could shower. I just couldn't wash my hair for, I think it was like a week. And they were telling me the healing process. He goes, your scabs will just start to naturally fall off. Don't touch it. Don't, just let everything happen naturally, and just use the spray. And when you go to wash your hair like a week from now and stuff, do it nice and lightly, not very long. I can't remember exactly all the care tips that they were giving me for it, but they were very knowledgeable. They gave you paper copies for it all. Because you just had surgery like everyone would or should. And so when we're done, we left. I had a bandana on. I looked like like a gangster on the street with my bandana. We caught an early train ride home because we're thinking like, oh, great, we get to get home earlier. So we took the 3:15 train or whatever. And we get on the train and we're going up home. And I'm thinking maybe we should have took the normal train, because that train we took broke down. It's like a 3.5 hour trip back home. We were like 20 minutes away from being home, and the train broke down. And everyone's thinking they're having a shit day because it's like Friday or something. I think it was a Friday, and everyone's complaining and shit. Like, one guy is just like, oh, welcome to hell. And I'm just like, dude, shut the fuck up. I had someone cut into my head, rip skin off, slice it up, and slap it back on me like, this isn't for appearance, this bandana. And I remember the pain pills are starting to wear off. I remember like I could feel the numbness. I could start to regain feeling in like the lower part of my neck. And I could start to feel a little bit of a throbbing of where they... And I had to pop one of the oxy pills. I popped dry on the train, and then I was fine. We got rock and roll home, and so my healing process and everything was fine. No issues at all, no pain. I remember when I woke up, I wasn't really in any pain. I think I still took the oxys once when I woke up, and then maybe one more in the day. But then the third day, I don't even think I bothered with pills at all. Like, I really don't remember being in any pain other than the train ride home when it broke down and the shit was wearing off. I would have been home just fine. I remember, like, dude, if the train didn't break down, I would have been home to be able to take the pill with water just before, but no biggie. So that was the whole operation. It was a whole day in New York City. Everyone was great, grand, wonderful, terrific. Now, here, is probably the moment a lot of you are waiting for to see what it looked like. Now, what I was getting at before, where I do wish I did more strains and stuff, only now because the difference is that when I did the hair restoration, we were talking about short hair versus long hair. And at the time, I did not think I would grow my hair out. I really never saw me growing out my hair, especially to the length that I'm growing it now. I just didn't think I would ever do that. And so I had the operation done for short hair, which is part of why I wish I did do the other 512 or 300 follicles, whatever it was. So a few months go by, and you start to get little hairs. Now, the next picture that I'm about to show, the next two pictures I'm going to be showing were, from the look of it, I'm going to say these pictures are actually like 6 to 7 months, I think, after healing. This is like full progress. Bam. Look at that. Here, and take a better look. You can still see, like, that's where I was like, I wish I did the full thing. You know, I wish I did, but look at that. Look at that shit, dude. Just look at it. A year before the operation, a couple days, 1 day before the operation. And this is like 6 months, 7, I think. Oh, man. This was me on my first motorcycle, like, I think later that year. I was chunkier back then, but oh, man. This is me at work. I remember I told my boss about it because I had the deal at work was I told my boss exactly what I was doing. I didn't tell anybody, actually. My mom, my grandma, and my boss, and I asked my boss to keep it a secret. But I had to tell her that I needed maybe a couple more days off. I needed Friday off and maybe a Monday and a Tuesday. And I called her up on her personal cell phone Sunday, told her all about the operation, what it was like, how it went. She was so happy for me. And I remember telling her about the bandana. I'm just like, so my head is like really scary. I feel comfortable enough to come in and work, but only if I can, wear the bandana for a week, maybe 2. And I ended up, I think, wearing it for 2 weeks. I may have exaggerated with the 2 weeks. I probably would have been fine with 1 week, but I did what I felt I needed. And you still a tadly look a little bit like before. You still will look whatever you kind of were almost. And I just remember my boss, like 6-7 months later, I remember there was a couple of times. It was like a year later, she was walking by me and she remembered that I had it done. And she puts her hand on my shoulder. She goes, I just want to tell you, like, I see it. I see the difference. And it's great. It's awesome. I just remember like, it worked and shit. And I didn't tell any friends for a while. I didn't tell any family, because another thing that Ollie told me, he goes, after it, there'll be some people who will tell you that there is something different about you and they don't know what it is. And I remember when I finally told my family and some of my friends, they were like, that's what it is. That, like, they were even saying, like, we've noticed something was different, but we couldn't figure out what it was. Because it grows, it is your hair. It is all naturally your hair still, and it grows just like normal hair. So from it being a bald spot to having new follicles on it, it's regrowing of hair. I wish I had a front angle of that. I looked so hot, actually. I might. And then this was this is going back 2 years. And this is what me and my buddies, we go out close around Christmas time in December. We go out and we do a dressy, sexy thing. And there was this one lady, when we went out, we were out on the deck smoking cigars in like winter. And she's like, your hair looks so great. What do you... I can't ever get my hair to look that gorgeous and wonderful, and like, what do you do? And I just remember I kept getting, I don't know if it was because of the length or because it was great and stuff, but yeah, it's kind of the whole story and spiel of it in a way. Like I said, Finasteride, there's the Finasteride still to talk about, but I had a weird issue at the time with my doctor, with my primary doctor. and I wasn't going to him for, not because of the finasteride. That my primary doctor was a piece of shit. I feel I hated the guy, Dr. Fogel. Fuck you. Because I also know some of the things he told my mother too. Fuck you. Anyways, so I didn't care to go to him for finasteride, and I kept going to Bosley. And a very interesting question that I had to ask them about finasteride. I just got in my head. I just was thinking, like, what if male pattern baldness, as you keep getting older, what if it starts to become more aggressive? Because like I said, in the original, when I was originally on finasteride, it was 5 milligrams. And Ollie and the doctor kind of figured that it must have been a 5 milligram if the doctor was having me cut it up. They were prescribing me 1 milligrams. And I was just thinking about that and the difference in milligrams. And I asked him, I even got to ask the nurse directly. I think it was my second year going back to New York City, to that New York City branch of Bosley. Ollie wasn't there. Ollie, like a year later, he ended up leaving, I think, or at that time, that was the first year where Ollie wasn't there. He got a new job somewhere else, I guess. And I think I was talking to Amir at the time, and Amir was a nice guy too. They brought a nurse in, refilled out my prescription, and I just remember asking her the question. If it stops it, what if it becomes so aggressive that would I ever need to up the dosage? Would I ever need to start taking 2 milligrams or go over to the 5 milligrams? And from what she said, she goes, it doesn't really work that way, I guess, so to speak. She goes, if the 1 milligram, she goes, your body could do that. There's maybe a chance, I guess, that it could happen like that. And you wouldn't bother with the finasteride anymore. So I guess if you're on it, see if maybe it holds. It's holding with me still. That's decent little difference. The reason why we did what we did for the short hair, and Ollie was telling me that, and so was the doctor, that the longer you get your hair, of course, it'll pull it down and it will encourage more thinness versus, well, here. So when I haven't done any work since then. This is a one and done deal. And so, yeah, obviously I look more full there because my hair is grown out, is more spread out. So when I was growing my hair out, even though I knew the operation I had done was more specifically for short hair, I just started to notice that, it's it's not bad. I still look devilishly handsome, But that was a fundamental question that kind of just came out to me. I'm not receding anywhere else. To me, that is still the natural bald spot that I was developing. But that question just still kind of remained, and I asked the nurse, and she said that. She goes, if it's possible that could happen. And she said in those cases you would probably stop taking the finasteride. I don't know if maybe I don't think, she was a nurse. I don't believe she was a doctor. I don't know. That's where it would come down to when you talk to Bosley or whoever. Maybe asking that same question. Maybe the answer will be different. I don't know. She just kind of like quickly heard me and gave me a quick answer and then left. It wasn't really like something that we really discussed much about. So, but I just thought that was an interesting question that I wanted to ask them, because that's exactly, this isn't just me talking about my experience. This is really meant for anybody else that was like me, young, middle-aged, or old, or whatever. This is all about, because I felt so fucking good about this. I really did. My 26th birthday, I think it was. I remember I was talking with my cousin, and I said to her, I'm just like, she's like, you having a good birthday? And I was telling her, it's great. Like, good times. I got a great family. I have great friends. I'm about to start entrepreneuring on Twitch TV. And then it also hit me. I'm like, and I beat male pattern baldness. And I got a little teary eyed because I'm just like, there aren't many people that get to say that. There aren't a lot of people that get to overcome it. And when I started to see this, when I started to really notice these, oh bloody hell, and I started to see those results, I remember the doubt that I had in the beginning a little bit, or like, because it's some of these guys that they show. Let me see if I got a couple other things pulled up here, but I have Bosley. Just some of these pictures with these people, it you just don't know what to think, you know? I remember always when I would see these pictures, I would think like, how do we really know that before isn't maybe an after and the after is a before? You know, and they're always older dudes. But that to me was the biggest question, is how much of it is true and real. And I just remember feeling like that is going to be the importance of my story to tell later. And I feel like this is maybe a great time to just make an announcement video on it. I did it. I've been through it. This is what it is. And the Finasteride. Now, this is the important thing with the Finasteride. The hair, if you've made it this far in the video, God bless you. But the Finasteride, as I said, stops the hair loss. But the price on that, motherfucker, the price on Finasteride, that's kind of where Keeps comes in, my friends. Finasteride, when I was freshly on it, I was going to Rite Aid, and Rite Aid was charging like $86 a month for it. Rite Aid was like $86 a month. They told me, Bosley said that Costco was the cheapest and the greatest. Where I'm at, I didn't have Costco, so I had to work with what I had. And CVS, I don't think was any cheaper, and it was $86. Then I think I got lucky, and they dropped it down to like $67 at one point. Now, I am still a part of it, and I'm with Sam's Club now. This is a user tip for anybody who may not have it, but maybe you have a Sam's Club. I forgot how I got wind of Sam's Club Pharmacy. I don't know if it's like a friend of ours or something, but anyways, so for Sam's Club, you pay $100 for their membership. You got to be a part of their membership to have access to the rate for the pharmacies. So $100 for the Sam's Club membership. Then I think right now it is $4 a refill a month, or $12 every 3 months. So you do the math. $86 a month for Rite Aid versus that. Obviously, you're saving money, so to speak. Some people would argue, nah, fuck that. I'd rather just hang on to the money. Well, yeah, go ahead. Hang on to the money. Enjoy your baldness. You know, if you're fine with that, you're fine with that. I get it. Some people are just like, it's too expensive. Like I said, it was $8,000 to maybe a $12,000 operation. And I was paying them monthly. I was on a payment plan, for $226 a month. And yeah, but it was worth it to me. And in all honesty now, because like I said, I was 23, I think. It was 23 is when all this was going on, and I did not want to be bald, guy. I did not want to be bald for 23 all through my 20s. No, thank you. I will fucking pay it. I will, and I did, and no regrets on it. No regrets. So the Finasteride is cheaper currently at the moment for me with Sam's Club. And now that I've been hearing about this place, Keeps looks like, I don't think they're about hair restoration. Keeps to me looks like it is about just Finasteride becoming more easily accessible for people, and it's still a little pricey. They're $25 a month. Now, obviously, that's way better than Rite Aid, and maybe Keeps is the best for most people, but just to let others know that there are other options out there. Obviously, maybe still fuck Rite Aid. I haven't looked at Rite Aid or CVS prices in forever. I never looked at CVS, I don't think. But Sam's Club to me was the cheapest. I think yearly I'm at like $140 a month, $120, somewhere around. Well, no, that wouldn't be right. So we'll say $140. $140 for the Finasteride, which to me is still worth it to keep it. When I think about it long term, I mean, if what that nurse had said is true, that maybe that I have potential, that the male pattern baldness or the receding can maybe outweigh the milligram of Finasteride, if it started happening in my mid to late 30s or something, then, later in life, I wouldn't have much of a problem with dealing with it. But in your 20s, no way. And I was told, actually, I went up, I think, for a checkup 6 months down the road with Bosley, and they took a look at the back of my head where they ripped it out, and they said I healed up amazing, that the scar, either there wasn't a scar or the scar is really just not noticeable, that the doctor had a hard time finding where he made the original incision. So even for that, I'm told I healed up nicely, that if I have a scar, it's not really noticeable. They told me the reason why they take it back from where they do is because even when you do bald, it was ear to ear, basically. But they said that when you go bald, you see a lot of people, they got that thing on the back. They're bald on top, but they got that side and on the back shit, kind of like Kevin from The Office. Thing is, Kevin, right? So that's where they took it from, that angle, and they're like, as long as you don't ever, like, shave the back of your head, if you have a scar, no one will ever notice it. And it's really awesome. It's great that is just an option. It is pricey, it's expensive. If you want it, it's there. And for me, it was totally worth it. I haven't fully looked in depth at Keeps. I looked over and saw they're promoting Finasteride, which I am on. I'm still on Finasteride, 1 pill every day, 1 milligram. Usually pop it when I'm done brushing my teeth. It's a regular thing. You got to stay on it. I asked Ollie, I'm like, well, now, like, what happens if, like, I miss a day or two? He's like, you miss a day or two, it's no big deal, but get back on it right away. I'm like, all right. So, there have been some days I missed it. No biggie. You just stay on it, keep popping them like candy. And that's it. Keeps might be a great thing, but I just figured it would be nifty to make this video to talk about it as a whole, my entire experience with it. Bosley changed my life for the better. They gave me confidence that I was very much losing, and they helped me refine that confidence again for sure. I'm so fucking glad I did it. Wish I did the rest of the follicles now. I forget about that, actually, from time to time. That was even a thing. But I have to say, is this it? Things that do not cause hair loss: shampooing, sunshine, hats, natural high-tech, masturbation. Masturbation does not cause hair loss. Who the fuck ever thought that could ever be a factor? I swear to God, there are idiots in this world for sure. I really feel like we didn't need to know that. I feel like that was just, you'll go blind if you, not really. And no, I could. My God, Keeps. But anyways, that's the whole story. One last little cover all again. I'm glad I did it. It was great. Those are the pictures. Look damn good there, don't I? That's my buddy Dom. Dom's really cool. He's handsome also. Ladies, he's single. But yeah. I just thought it would be important to make this video to go over also the rates and Finasteride it. And yeah, I don't know what else to say that I haven't already said. That's it. So this was quite a lengthy video. I felt it would be best, though, to tell the whole thing in as depth as possible, because this video would have been extremely helpful to me if I could have had someone tell me all this and what the experience was like and everything. I thought this would have been great and grand, because all you have through a lot of this stuff is just infomercials. And I thought this would also be a really amazing thing with me as being a streamer, is to provide some insight with it. They would have conversation segments, I think, with Bosley, maybe about them talking to people, and they'd be quick things about how they change their lives. And it is true. It's very true. But I thought it would be awesome if it came from a guy who did it when he was 23 versus he's now 28. He's older. And I thought it would be great, especially when I get to 30. Like I said, a big thing is that it's like they keep taking pictures and they keep promoting these middle-aged men. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's meh. I found it to be fake and phony-ish, maybe, because I couldn't tell like I said, if a before pic was really a before and the after was an after, or if maybe they were reversed and it was staged to make it look that way. So that's why I figured it'd be great for a younger man to provide insight. I've been through it. And yeah. And another funny thing I noticed because of hair restoration in Bosley, I wonder if I can find it really quick. I started watching The Office last year, and I think Steve Carell may have had a little bit of hair restoration done on himself. I think. Yeah, because if you look at season 1 of The Office, look at him. I don't know if he's publicly said anything or not, but when I watched the Office season 1, I noticed that very much compared to when you see him in later seasons. And I just found that interesting. And also, like in Bruce Almighty, because look, it looks more thin there, you know? So yeah, I just thought that was interesting. You just start to notice stuff like that after a while when you have the program done and maybe you see an actor or something and you just like, hey, I wonder if they did it too. Because it's pricey. It's definitely something you would do for maybe more of the acting profession or the modeling profession. Or if you're really just veiny and you don't want to let go of it like I did. But that's the story. That was Bosley. There's Keeps for maybe easier access to Finasteride, but also check out Costco. I'm maybe going to be getting a Costco here sooner or later in New York, Albany, New York, Capital District, and we'll check out rates there. If anybody has questions, comments, concerns, I don't know, well, maybe you'd have concerns, I guess, but any of that stuff, that's what the comments down below are for. I usually get back same day to as late as 3 days later. I'm pretty good at responses and stuff. I stream live on Twitch TV. If you're a gamer, a rock and rolling gamer, or whatever, you want to maybe just try and ask me a quick question live right away, the link will be down below in the description. I don't do YouTube videos that much. I don't got the, but if you want to try and catch me live and talk to me in stream, go for it. Drop me a follow maybe on Twitch or see if I'm there and ask me. I've talked about it a little bit before on stream, but this is me going very in depth, very, very in depth with the whole thing. If you made it this far in the video, holy shit, congratulations. I'm sorry it took so long, but the topic that we're talking about is not exactly a quick and easy thing to just talk about. I know anybody would probably love, I'm sure if you made it this far, I hope you're glad that I did it. I'm glad I did it. I feel like this is a good give back to people who were like me, wondering about it, curious about it, and want to know about it. So any further questions, write it down below in the comments, maybe come by the stream. And in exchange, if you know someone, share it to them. If you want to really help me out, help me with my sub count, drop me a sub. Turn off the notifications. If you're not a rock and roller and you're not a video gamer and you want to help me, but I mean, my content really isn't about this shit, subscribe to me and turn the notifications off. God bless you. I appreciate it very much for all the help. That'll be a good little do back to me. Have a good rest of your guys' day, and we'll see you later.